Hello, today we're doing lesson 4.3 and 4.4 word problems. These are also word problems involving quadratic functions, except we are going to use factoring to solve. So let's go ahead and get started so you can see the difference in how the questions are asked. Okay, a rectangular picnic site measures 24 by 10 feet. You want to double the site's area by adding the same distance x to the length and width. So if we have a picnic area that's 24 by 10, we want to double the area by adding the same distance on. So we're going to add a piece x here and a piece x here. So here's going to be the setup because we want to find out what that x is. It's a little bit different. We don't need vertex. We need to find x. So we are going to take the area and we're going to double that. And we're going to set it equal to our area, which would be 24 by 10, but we're adding, remember, the same distance on. So we have our 24 feet plus a certain distance times our 10 feet plus a certain distance is going to give us the area doubled. So we're going to go ahead and solve for x because we want to know what that distance is. We want to know what the distance that should be added, and we want to find our new dimensions of the rectangular picnic site. So we're going to go ahead and FOIL this out, and I'm going to multiply the 24 times 10 times 2, so I get 480 equals, when I FOIL this out, I get 240 plus 34x plus x squared. Now when we solve quadratic equations, we want to put it in descending order and we want to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to move the 480 over, and when I do that, when I go to rewrite it, I'm going to write it with my x squared first. So I get 0 equals x squared plus 34x minus 240. I'm going to factor now. I'm going to say what multiplies to give me negative 240 and adds to give me 32. If I do the math off to the side, I get positive 40 and negative 6. I'm going to go ahead and put those in parentheses. So I get x plus 40, x minus 6. When I set those parentheses equal to 0, I get negative 40 and positive 6. We can't have a negative distance added, so we're adding 6 feet on. So we have two questions we need to answer. We're adding 6 feet, and the new dimensions are going to be 24 plus 6, which is 30 feet, by 10 plus 6, which is 16 feet. Not so bad, right? Sometimes the factoring gets a little bit more difficult because the factoring doesn't always lead with a 1. We'll talk about that, I believe, in, no, not this problem, a problem on the back side. Okay, let's try the next problem. A rectangular performing platform in a park measures 10 by 12 feet. You want to triple the area by adding the same distance x to both of those dimensions, so we have the exact same setup. We're not talking about any maximum height. We just want to find what that distance added is. So we're going to go ahead and multiply this out. We get 360. We're going to FOIL this out. 120 plus 22x plus x squared. We're going to write the next line in descending order, and we're going to move our 360 over. Okay, we still have negative 240 as we did above, but this time we needed to add the positive 22. So if I do list factors for negative 240, I'm going to get positive 30 and negative 8. That's going to multiply to give me a negative 240 and add to give me a positive 22. And when I solve, I get negative 30 and positive 8. We can't have negative dimension being added. So again, it says what's the distance that should be added. We're still talking feet. Should be added 8 feet. And what's the new dimensions? 18 feet by 20 feet. How did I get that? I took 8 and I added it onto my 10 and I added it onto my 12. Now for the next problem, I want you to do just the setup. Let's take a look at it. I want you to pause the video and do the U-try. I want you to make your equation, and I want you to FOIL it out, and I want you to get it equal to 0. That's what I want to see tomorrow when you walk into class. So we're just setting up an equation, but go ahead and FOIL it out and get it equal to 0. All right, the next problems on the back side are a little bit different. This one says you have a rectangular quilt that's 5 feet by 4 feet. So we're going to start with a quilt, 5 feet by 4 feet. We have 10 square feet remaining to add a border. So we're going to add a border. We know what the area of the border is, but we don't know what the width of the border is going to be. So remember, we're going to add X everywhere around. It wants to be the same thickness. So our new dimensions are going to be X plus 5 plus X. That's going to be 5 plus 2X. This dimension is going to be the same thing, X plus 4 plus X. So 4 plus 2X. So now we want to find out what the width is going to be. So this is a little bit different. So I want you to think of it like this. We're going to take the area of the whole quilt. So that would be 4 plus 2x times 5 plus 2x. We're going to subtract out the area of the middle. The area of the middle is 5 times 4. We know that if we take the area of the whole thing and we subtract out the area of the middle, we'll be left with the area of the border. We know what the area of the border is. You were given it. We have 10 square feet to use. So this is our equation. There's a little bit more math to do, but then we can go ahead and do the same thing, get it equal to 0, and factor to solve for x. So I'm going to go ahead and FOIL this out. When I FOIL this out, I get 18x plus 4x squared. When I multiply 5 times 4, I get 20, so it's minus 20 equals 10. So I'm going to do a couple steps in here. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 10 on both sides. I'm going to write the left side in descending order. So I have 4x squared plus 18x. We have 20 minus 30, so minus 10 equals 0. Now, you want to still follow our rules for factoring. If there's a GCF, take a GCF out. This one I can take a 2 out. When I do that, I'm left with 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. Now we're going to go ahead and factor, but we have a little bit longer factoring to do. We're going to take our 2 times our negative 5, that's negative 10. What multiplies to give us negative 10 and adds to give us positive 9, that would be 10 and negative 1. We're going to go ahead and do our longer method where we rewrite our middle term. Oops, sorry, that wasn't supposed to be there. We're going to factor by grouping. What can we take out of these two? We can take out a 2x. So we're left with x plus 5. Remember, we have a 2 on the outside. We're going to take out here a negative 1, so I'm left with x plus 5. So then we have 2x minus 1, and then x plus 5. Our two answers, we're going to set those equal to 0, are going to be 1/2 and negative 5. We can't have a width be negative, so we're going to cross that off. So our width is a half. Half what? This was all in feet. So the width is going to be a 1/2 foot wide, or 6 inches. We'll try another one just like this. I know the factoring's a little bit more, but the setup is going to be the same. Let's go ahead and try that. You have a picture that is 20 by 24, so 20 by 24. You have 416 square inches of wood to make a frame. We don't know what the width is going to be, but we know it's going to be the same distance all the way around. So our new dimensions are going to be 20 plus 2x. And 24 plus 2x. Big mistake students make is they forget the 2. But I want you to realize we're adding x plus 20 plus x. That goes all the way across. So you need the 2x. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. So we want to know the width. We're going to take the area of the whole thing. So the area of the whole thing is going to be 24 plus 2x times 20 plus 2x. We're going to subtract out the area of that picture inside. That's going to be 20 times 24. We know that's going to equal the area that we have left because we're going to use up what we have left of wood to build the frame. Now again, we're going to go ahead and multiply this all out, get it equal to 0. I'm going to go ahead and just write that. We'll focus on the factoring. 4x squared plus 88x minus 416 equals 0. So notice what I did. I FOILed it. I added my like terms. I moved the 416 over. Now this one, we can take a GCF of a 4 out, which is nice because that's going to make our factoring easier. So you are going to do what multiplies to give us a negative 104 and adds to give us a 22. We're going to set each parenthesis equal to 0, so we get negative 26 and positive 4. We can't have a negative width. This is going to be 4. For what? The problem above is in inches, so 4 inches. Now, For the U-try, I want you to do the same thing you did on the front of the U-try. On the front page. I want you to go ahead and set up your equation. I want you to FOIL it out, and I want you to get it equal to 0. So 3 little things that you're doing on that problem. Then if you have questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, write it at the bottom of the paper, and I will see you tomorrow in class.